Worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kinda funny, I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Greetings, my fellow patriots. We are live. This is Live Free or Die, and I'm your host, Eli King. And thank you for joining me for another great episode. All right. I don't know if you saw it, but, yep. There it is. Madonna, doing her Luciferian Kabbalah ritual at the Super Bowl. You got it here. You've seen it for yourself. There it is. She's worshiping Balthazar, whatever his name is, the devil's spawn over there. Be aware of this. Be aware of these Luciferians. And see, this is why I have my flag over here. Appeal to heaven. And people always ask, why is this flag before your country flag? Because, well, first of all, God comes first. First comes God's law, then the people's law, then the government's law. So first and foremost, I obey God. Second, I obey the Constitution. Then third, I obey the government. If only most people knew how simple this is, it would be no problem. All right, let's get on to some news. GOP strategist says Ron Paul will be on the Republican ticket. But before that, actually, I want to talk about Ron Paul's second place finish, and I want to show you a clip of him addressing the crowd. All right, here we go.
Thank you for all your hard work, and believe it or not, we did very well tonight and have a very, very strong second place, and it's going to continue. We've had some good news today. Maybe you have seen, but there was a recent Reuters poll out just today. It's the first time that we came in second in a national poll in the Republican primary. And we do have to remember, you know, the straw vote is one thing, but then there's one other thing called delegates. Yeah! And I have been so impressed. I've been involved for a long time, but it's been these last several years, especially since the last campaign 4 years ago. The world has changed dramatically, and our views are not only being accepted, they're being sought after, because for so long, people have said, as long as we're rich and as long as we can borrow money, as long as we can print money, and people will take care of us and we won't have to worry. But guess what happened 4 years ago? All of a sudden, actually, the bankruptcy was declared. And this is the reason why the economy is in bad shape. The world economy is in bad shape. Everybody thinks we're going to bail them out, and they think the dollar is going to bail them out. And most Americans are saying, there's no way you can do it. There's no way you can keep the entitlement system and a debt rising at over $1 trillion a year. We have to challenge the entitlement system and the foreign policy that gives us these perpetual wars.
Absolutely. Congressman.
All was no other than, hopefully, our future president, Ron Paul. Now, this next clip I will be showing you is a GOP strategist who says Ron Paul will be on the Republican ticket. He actually predicts this. This guy was on the Judge Andrew Napolitano, excuse me. This is actually the only show on Fox News that I watch. Judge Andrew Napolitano's Freedom Watch is the only show that is credible enough for me. All those other shows on Fox News are garbage. Fox and Friends, even Bill O'Reilly and Glenn Beck, CIA operative, but he's gone now because he started speaking the truth. So they have canceled Judge Andrew Napolitano's show. This is a disgrace. And if you want to voice your outrage, you can call the Senior Vice President of Media Relations, Irene Briganti, the bucket of scum that she is. You can reach her at 212-301-3608. Once again, that is 212-301-3608. All right, let's go to the next clip in honor of Judge Andrew Napolitano.
Ron Paul is surging into second place in many national polls, showing his growing appeal. The Paul campaign is also claiming that it is winning the race for delegates. The campaign is confident it will pick up pluralities of delegates in caucus states like Iowa, Colorado, Nevada, and Minnesota. Question: is Congressman Paul winning? Joining me now to discuss is GOP strategist, good friend of the show, Jack Berkman. Jack, it's always a pleasure. Welcome.
Your Honor. Pleasure here.
Let me put to you the same question I just put to Doug Schoen. Can Ron Paul win the nomination without finishing first in any of the nominating processes, whether they are closed primaries where only Republicans can vote, open primaries where anybody can vote, or caucuses?
Yes. And I think you're already seeing him surge in national polls. I'll tell you what I think is very likely. I'll make you a bold prediction, Judge. I'll make a bold prediction right here and now, following what we've been saying for a year. Ron Paul is going to be on the Republican ticket, and I'll tell you why. I'll back that up. Last night establishes you now have 4 people who have the momentum to take this to the convention. Santorum's in, Gingrich is in, Romney and Paul are definitely in. 4 bodies are going to the convention. What that means is, and this goes into what I've argued for 6 months, we're going to see a brokered convention. The vote will be split up such that they will have to make a deal. The likely leader will be Romney, but he won't have enough delegates to win. Here's what happens.
Let me stop you, Jack. Are you telling me that it is not just fanciful, but it may actually happen that the name Paul is on the national ticket, maybe not in the first place? Maybe not in the first place. I'm going further than that. I am now affirmatively predicting that Ron Paul will be on the ticket. I'll lay odds. If this were in London, Judge, I'd lay odds. We can lay odds on this. I'm saying this will likely happen, and here's why. Go ahead.
When the vote is split up, let's say Romney gets 900 to Gingrich 600, Santorum 500, Paul 450, something like that. Romney will look at the field, and he will have to pick one of them as the VP in order to get the nomination. Gingrich and Santorum have extremely high negatives in a general election. Nobody in their right mind would want them on the ticket. Both of them, the negatives are so sky high. Santorum, you got to go. Who's left? It's Ron Paul.
It's a bold prediction, Jack. I'm not surprised to hear it from you. It's utterly tantalizing. We have to go. Thank you for joining us. We'll pick up on this the next time you're with us.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. The revolution continues right here.
All right. You had it there from Judge Napolitano. That was probably one of the last live shows he did. You see, Fox News, like I said before, canceled his show. So in honor to you, Judge Napolitano, we salute you. Hopefully we can get you back on another venue. You can leave that bucket of scum, Fox News, and go somewhere else. All right, let's move on to news. We're already 10 minutes in and we're wasting time. All right, let's go into the FBI, excuse me. FBI warns of threat from anti-government extremists. This is from Patrick Temple West from Reuters. Anti-government extremists opposed to taxes and regulations pose a growing threat to local law enforcement officers in the United States. The FBI warned on Monday, these extremists, sometimes known as sovereign citizens, believe they can live outside of any type of government authority, FBI agents said at a news conference. These extremists may refuse to pay taxes, defy government environmental regulations, and believe the United States went bankrupt by going off the gold standard. Routine encounters with the police can turn violent at the drop of a hat, said Stuart MacArthur, Deputy Assistant Director in the FBI's Counterterrorism Division. Yeah, when you're constantly pulling over these sovereign citizens and taking away their children and throwing them in foster homes, I think somebody will get violent, you know. Pulling them over and taking them to jail for not being able to pay the fines they built up on their car. It's not like that in New York, thankfully. A sheriff will just come and take your car. But in some states, if you owe money because of parking tickets, they will disappear you and throw you in jail for 72 hours till you see a judge, and then they'll probably keep you there longer. So, but I don't condone violence whatsoever. All my viewers know this. So please, we must remain peaceful. All right, let's move on to more FBI warning us of terrorist activity. FBI says paying cash for a cup of coffee, a potential indicator of terrorist activity. Yes, that's right. These flyers were handed out to internet cafe owners, and an FBI advisory aimed at these owners instructs businesses to report people who regularly use cash to pay for their coffee. FBI says they are potential terrorists. So if you buy coffee with cash, you are a potential terrorist, you evildoer. How dare you use cash in our new coming cashless society? Also, let's move on to more warnings from the FBI. Oh, this one's actually from the Department of Homeland Security. If you love individual liberty, or if you believe in conspiracy theories, you are a potential terrorist. Ooh. Hey, that's me. I love conspiracy theories. JFK is my favorite one. According to the new DHS report, the following are some of the beliefs and ideologies of American terrorists. Fiercely nationalistic. Hey, I know a guy like that. You watching? All right. Anti-global. Suspicious of centralized federal authority. Reverent of individual liberty. Believes in conspiracy theories. Ooh. A belief that one's personal or national way of life is under attack. If you believe that, then you're a terrorist. Damn it. Insert religion into the political sphere. Those who seek politicized religion, if you're anti-abortion, anti-Catholic, anti-nuclear, all of the above are direct quotes from the report. Do any of those beliefs apply to you? Then you may have to go check yourself into the nearest FEMA center and turn yourself in. Damn conspiracy theorist. All right. Also, the feds say bulk buying of food a potential terrorist activity. That's right, despite the fact that FEMA itself spent $1 billion on storable food last year alone. Yeah, they say if you do the same thing, then you are a potential terrorist. As part of I'll read. This is from Paul Joseph Watson at Infowars.com. As part of its effort to encourage business owners to spy on their customers, the FBI has labeled the bulk purchase of food as a potential indication of terrorist activity, despite the fact that FEMA itself, like I said, purchased $1 billion in food last year. All right, let's move on to other news now. This says right here, this is from Kurt Nemo. It says Mossad works with terror group to assassinate Iranian nuclear scientist. Well, of course, I don't know if you heard, but they had a Iranian nuclear scientist that was assassinated. They put one of those sticky bombs right on the side of his car door, and they blew him up. That's a Mossad signature. Mossad is very dangerous, and they will kill you at a drop of a hat. So people ask me, why do you do this? Because I have faith. I believe in God. Believe it or not, there are certain things that have happened to me that make me believe. At one time, I probably did not believe, but like I said, certain things have happened to me. I don't want to get into it. Let's just move on. Damn terrorist. All right, 10 things that every American should know about the Federal Reserve. This is good. You know how I hate the Federal Reserve, those evil bastards. All right, number 1, the Federal Reserve System is a privately owned banking cartel. The Federal Reserve is not a government agency, if you didn't already know. Number 2, the Federal Reserve System is a perpetual debt machine. As long as the Federal Reserve System exists, U.S. government debt will continue to go up and up and up. Number 3, the Federal Reserve has destroyed more than 96% of the value of the U.S. dollar. Did you know that the U.S. dollar has lost 96.2% of its value since the year 1900? Wow. Of course, almost all of that decline has happened since the Federal Reserve was created in the year 1913. Number 4, the Federal Reserve can bail out whoever it wants with no accountability. The American people got so upset about the bailouts that Congress gave to Wall Street and the big automakers, but did you know the biggest bailouts of all were given out by the Federal Reserve? Number 5, the Federal Reserve is paying banks not to lend money. That's right, you go to your local bank, hey, can I borrow some money? I want to open up a new business, you know, my new wonton shop. Negative. No wonton shop for you. The Federal Reserve has authorized me, the bank, not to give you money. They're actually paying banks not to make loans. Look that up, people. Go to startpage.com. That's the new private search engine. We're going to boycott Google because they are terrorists. All right, let's move on. Number 6, the Federal Reserve creates artificial economic bubbles that are extremely damaging. By allowing a centralized authority, such as the Federal Reserve, to dictate interest, it creates an environment where financial bubbles can be created very easily. Number 7, the Federal Reserve System is dominated by the big Wall Street banks. Ever since it was created, the Federal Reserve System has been dominated by the Wall Street banks. Duh. All right, number 8. It is not an accident that we saw the personal income tax and the Federal Reserve System both come into existence in the year 1913. That's right. Did you know the IRS did not exist pre-1913? The same year that they passed the Federal Reserve Act on Christmas Eve of 1913, when only 3 senators passed it, is the same year the IRS was put into play to tax our money. Well, I'm speaking terroristic like talking about the IRS now. Better watch out. May have to disappear my ass. But yes, we need to abolish the IRS. It is a fraud that has been put upon us, and they call it federal. The only taxes we should be paying are state taxes, as it says in the Constitution. And whatever else it says. All right, let's move on. Plenty of news here. I think we got some good news here. This is from Paul Joseph Watson, once again at Infowars.com. Senate passes bill allowing airports to evict TSA screeners. The Senate has passed legislation that includes a provision allowing airports to replace TSA screeners with private security, opening the door for the widely loathed federal agency to be marginalized from aviation security altogether. That's what I'm talking about. Finally, the Senate is doing a good thing by passing these bills. But you got a few other senators like Joe Lieberman and this other Democrat, Sheila Jackson, whatever she is, saying, possibly another 9/11 can happen. No. The TSA has not stopped the one terrorist act. As a matter of fact, they have killed about 3 people. Look it up. Besides the fact that they're searching Granny's diaper. There goes the show. Flags are falling. Time out. Hey, I'll tell you what. In honor of my 1776 flag, I'm going to wear it proudly because I love my country. The spirit of 1776 will live forever. The spirit of 1776 will not die, people. I'm going insane right now, and I love it because I love my colors. These colors don't run, people. They don't run. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. 1776, people. The answer to 1984 is 1776. All right. Let's move on to some other news. Total chaos today. What the hell is going on? All right. Sources expose FEMA training camp in Missouri. An anonymous source has sent photos to Infowars.com of a FEMA training camp located at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. The FEMA camp whistleblower was contracted to work at the camp. So he took these pictures of the FEMA camp in Missouri. He also states after the passage of the National Defense Authorization Act, which gives authority for the military to disappear Americans, people, 76. That activity at this camp has been running wild. He says he sees all foreign troops in maroon and purple uniform. All right, I'm losing all control here. Bear with me. Let's move on. The globalist campaign calls for the abolishment of the Constitution. This is from Kurt Nemo and Alex Jones. The establishment is now openly assaulting the Constitution and the very idea of an innate and God-given individual rights going back to the Magna Carta, the Habeas Corpus Act, and the Petition of Right and English Common Law. The Constitution and the Declaration of Independence encapsulate and enumerate into law liberties that are the birthright of humanity. And also you got the New York Times, the New York Toilet Paper Times, goes up and writes this piece that, the Constitution is just a piece of paper and it's outdated. No, my Constitution is not just a piece of paper and is not outdated. You know how many people, how many Americans died for these colors and died for the Constitution? No, it is not. Don't go along with the trendiness of the New York Times. Oh, I want to be trendy, so let's do away with the Constitution and let's go in with the UN laws. Even though Article 30 of the UN law states you have no rights whatsoever. Damn it. All these animals. So yeah, to hell with the New York Toilet Paper Times. Boycott them too. Pieces of garbage. All right. Goal of Iran sanctions are apparently a malnutrition and starvation. I'm a little bit malnourished right now. Hold on. Article 54 of the Geneva Protocol prohibits starvation as a method of war. This is precisely what the United States, Europe, and the United Nations did in Iraq. They imposed a medieval embargo and tried to starve the nation into submission. The result was over 500,000 dead children, which Clinton's Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright, said was a price worth paying. So over 500,000 dead children was a price worth paying? You know, I don't give a damn. I'm sorry. Even if they are the enemy, children should not be sacrificed in such ways. And as we know through history, they were not the enemy because we propped Saddam Hussein up. We put him in that position. Just like we put Mubarak from Egypt in his position, just like we put al-Assad in his position, and now we're going into Syria to take them down. We're using Al-Qaeda operatives to take over other countries, and then saying Al-Qaeda is the boogeyman. All right. Syria, Pentagon prepares military operations for Obama. The Free Syrian Army, also known as Al-Qaeda, is widely recognized as a creation of NATO. It received support from the MI6, the CIA, and the British SAS. Yeah, like I was saying, people, this is all a ruse. Al-Qaeda, the $6 billion ruse in the global war on terror. According to the official version, CIA aid to the Mujahideen began during 1980. That is to say, after the Soviet army invaded Afghanistan on the 24th December of 1979. But the reality, secretly guarded until now, is completely otherwise indeed. It was July 3rd, 1979, that President Carter signed the first directive for secret aid to the opponents of the pro-Soviet regime, Kabul. Brzezinski said, look up this guy, Google Brzezinski and Al-Qaeda and their links. It is totally atrocious. All right, let's move on to some health news really quick. They say roughhousing with your kids keeps them emotionally intelligent, ethical, and physically fit. This is from naturalnews.com. That's right, children who roughhouse with their parents also learn about proper boundaries, including how to play around in an aggressive yet loving and compassionate way. Many experts say engaging in things like plastic sword fighting battles and soft punch boxing matches, for instance, cause children to learn how to use their strength and power in a morally acceptable way later in life. That's right. All right, we're out of time here, people. It was a great show. Neotame is the next aspartame. Watch out for that. FDA doesn't require labeling of that. Also, a must-see film, pinkribbons.inc. It puts the fraud out on the whole cancer society thing. We'll get more into that next time I'm on. That's it, people. 1776. The answer to 1984 is 1776. God bless America. God bless the Constitution. And if you have received this transmission, then you are the resistance. Damn it. Right there for you, buddy. Let them have it. Shit.